Are you just feeling like you're treading water? You're still in debt, you're trying desperately to get out, and you just can't figure out why? Stick around and we'll talk about some possible reasons. Welcome, friends, to the channel Classy Frugality. My name is Tanya, and I'm so glad you decided to join me today. On today's video, we're going to talk about things that could hamper our abilities to become debt-free when we're on a debt-free journey. I personally am on a journey to become debt-free, and I can see steady progress that I'm making. Of course, there are always little stumbling blocks along the way, and we just need to give ourselves some grace. But there are some things that we can control. So that's some of the stuff that I wanted to go over. Now, remember, some of these suggestions are possibly things that might not be right for you, because ultimately, whatever you choose for your budget, that is your business. As long as you can budget for an item and prioritize it in some way and have your budget balanced, that is your business. So these suggestions might not work for everybody, but they are suggestions that will definitely work for me in my household and my situation. Okay, let's get started with number one. The number one thing that I can think of that so many people spend money on is fast food. So buying fast food from restaurants when you're tired is unnecessarily keeping you in debt. Now, you might not think, maybe a meal here, a meal there, $10, that's not much. What if you do that every day? That's a huge amount of money. I'm not going to try to do math in my head, but if you order when you're too tired, it's prolonging your debt. So what are the suggestions? Let me show you. Number one suggestion for this is the crock pot. I talk about my crock pot to y'all all the time. I'm a big fan of it. This right here, this is cheap. These are pinto beans, by the way, dried beans. This is cheap. This is easy. It's nutritious. I can literally, which I'm going to do here in a little bit. Oh, you like my jars? I save these jars. I am going to dump these into this crock pot, dump some water in there, maybe a couple bay leaves and some seasoning. I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to leave it. And about 8 hours from now, it's going to have some delicious, we call them soup beans, in about 8 hours. It'll have that ready for me. No trouble on my part. I barely even have to watch this crock pot. It just does its thing. And this is going to prevent me, I like to do this during the day while I'm at work, by the way. It's going to prevent me from stopping by a restaurant on the way home to get something to eat. When I come in, the house is going to smell good. And by the way, I'm going to go ahead and fix some of this rice just to go with that. And I'll have that to eat on probably 2 or 3 days. So get you a crock pot if you don't have one already. A slow cooker, I should say. The brand name crock pot is not endorsed in this video in any way. Get you a slow cooker. Also, if you're really hungry and you're tired on the way home, keep stuff like this. Keep you a banana or an apple or something, a granola bar in your car. That way you have something portable and good and filling to eat while you're on your way home. All right. Frozen pizza too. I forgot to mention that. You're going to want to keep like a frozen pizza or something in your freezer. That's almost the same as restaurant food. It's convenience food, but you didn't pay an arm and a leg for it. It's ready for you. Really, all you got to do is slap it on the pan, turn on the oven, throw it in. So, yes, ordering food when you're tired is a big budget killer, and it's one of the things that's prolonging your debt. Number 2, constant electronic upgrades. Now, I am not an electronic person, so this one is kind of hard for me to understand anyway, but if you are a big technology person and you enjoy those things, this might be a non-negotiable item for you. You might feel like that's an area of your budget you want to keep investing in. However, I still use an iPhone 11. That's actually what I film my videos on. I don't even have a video camera or anything to record on. Prentice has an iPhone 14. He had, I don't remember, something happened to his other phone, but he got he got an iPhone 14. I cannot tell the difference between this iPhone 11 and his iPhone 14. I don't know. I mean, maybe there are different features, but to me, they look the same. This one has been paid off for a long time. It's, this phone is paid for, and I think we still owe like $90 on his. So, but when it gets paid off, it's finally paid off. I'm not big on electronic upgrades. It took me forever to even get a smart TV. We had a big box TV for years until it finally died, and everybody else around us was getting the flat screen televisions, but that's just not something we prioritize. But, even if you do, even if you enjoy electronics, being too overzealous about upgrading too often could be a reason that you are staying in debt. Okay, number 3, you have too many streaming subscriptions. Well, and a lot of us have been guilty of that. We used to have Netflix back a few years ago. That, we don't have it anymore. We also used to have cable. I know that's different than a streaming subscription, but we had cable. It got ridiculously high. We switched over to just Wi-Fi in the house. And we do have a smart TV. We have one with a Roku box. So we stream all of our television programming, but we do not pay for any streaming subscriptions. I like to watch YouTube. There are free movies on YouTube, all kinds of different stuff, television shows. Tubi is free. The Roku channel is free. There's just all kinds of free apps. You could watch television for years and years and years to come and not have to subscribe to anything in particular. Also, don't forget about pulling out a DVD player, putting some of those DVDs in, have some nostalgia. You could even make that a movie night and make some popcorn at home. Also, what about an antenna? I don't know if you live in an area where you can pick up television, but I actually have an antenna. I think it costs $5 or $6 from Ollie's. It's about the size of a piece of paper. It's not much thicker than cardstock. It hangs on my wall, and I pick up 4 channels completely free. So do not let streaming subscriptions be one of the things that prolongs your debt, keeps you in debt. Number 4, retail therapy in stores just to feel better. So it might feel good in the moment to be looking through the store and find this pretty sweater that's on the clearance rack, try it on, and then you buy it, and then you see something else that's a great match to that sweater. Maybe it's a scarf, maybe it's a necklace and earring set, and so before you know it, You've just purchased all sorts of things for the sake of retail therapy. But then later on when you get home, you have that dread and you think, what did I just do? I should have used that $50. I should have used that $75, $100. I should have paid that toward my credit card bill. Oh my goodness. So retail therapy, as people call it, can definitely be one of these things that keeps prolonging your debt. All right, number 5, unused gym memberships. You've heard me talk before about how both Prentice and I had a Planet Fitness membership. It's actually close to our house. It's like 1.5 miles from our house to the nearest Planet Fitness. The membership was $25 a person, so it was a total of $50 per month, that is, not a year. It was per month. But the problem is we rarely went. So we got to thinking about, $50. That's like, how many bags of groceries could you buy with that? And I know for sure it could pay our entire water bill for the month, which averages about $40 a month. So eventually we just got rid of that. I called and I canceled, and if I want to work on exercise or whatever, generally I just go out and take a walk. So don't allow unused gym memberships or any kind of club memberships to prolong debt when you're trying to live a debt-free journey. And speaking on credit cards, watch your high interest credit cards. And again, this won't work for everybody. Some of you know how to pick credit cards that you earn reward points. You get travel miles. I've seen all kinds of ads and commercials for stuff like this. And you actually come out better by the time you get the rewards. And some folks are able to sort of play. I hate to say play. I know it's not a game, but it sort of is, I guess. Going from one credit card balance transfer to the next because the interest rates are lower. I've just never felt safe doing that. But if you have a high interest credit card, try to pay more than the minimum balance. Don't let that be a way that your debt is being prolonged. Okay, online shopping. So this is a little different than the retail therapy I was talking about earlier, because online shopping, I was meaning more in stores, but online, most of the time, by and large, you have your payment information already stored in the account. All you have to do is place things in your cart and click that buy button. And that just makes it that much easier to buy all these things that you don't need. And you don't immediately seem to feel the financial blow that it can cause, because you're not handling the actual card in your hand. You're not handling cash. So digital transactions like that make it so much easier to blow your budget and to prolong that debt-free journey that you're trying to attain. Okay, finally, number 8, impulse purchases. Impulse purchases can be a major factor in preventing you from saving money and from prolonging your debt. So I'm talking about things like you're at the grocery store, you're checking out. What do they always have at the beginning of the checkout lane? It seems like in the stores that I shop in, they always have a cooler full of drinks. You see a nice cold pop or a frosty bottle of water or sweet tea or something like that, and you want to get it. You think, well, I'll just grab this. That way I'll have something to drink while I'm driving back home. Or, there's a pack of gum. I need to get that pack of gum. What about that candy bar? And have you all seen the price of candy bars lately, by the way? They're outrageous. Just outrageous. But those dollars add up. They add up significantly. If you spend, you know, say $3 on a candy bar each day, and you spend $2 on a pop, that's $5 a day. If you do that, even 5 days a week, that's $25 a week. If it's just a Monday through Friday week, by the end of that month, you've spent $100. $100 on just a candy bar and a pop before you've known it. So, gosh, don't let that prolong your debt. Well, I appreciate you all watching today's video, and I hope that you are doing well on your debt journey and that you're where you want to be. If you would just give me a big thumbs up and like this video, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps the algorithm and it helps get the videos out to people who want to see them. Also, if you are not a member of the Classy Frugality family, if you would hit that subscribe button down in the corner, I would greatly appreciate that as well. Leave me a comment. Let me know what things you are doing to get out of debt. How are you reaching your goals? I'm going to end the video with just a little update on my seedlings that I planted the other day. But until then, I hope y'all have a blessed day. Okay, here are the seedlings that my friend Kimberly sent me. And I believe she called these bachelor buttons. But as you can see, they're coming up. And pretty big at that. I think every single seedling that I sowed in these, like all these have 4 areas in them, they're all coming up. So hopefully by the time the weather gets warm enough, these will all be good and ready to go. Now let's slide on over here. My marigolds have not done a thing yet. So I don't know what's up with them. It's been about 10 days. So I would have thought I would have seen a little bit of something. However, I did leave them outside for a night or two, and it was kind of chilly out. But we'll see what happens. But thank you all again for watching.